Good evening, LinkedIn Land, Facebook, YouTube. We are stoked to have you here. And today we're looking at writing evergreen content that never expires. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you energy. It's going to mean that you're beginning to put out better and better engagement and content. So we're going to unpack that. And I was looking and scrolling down the home feed yesterday, and there is some really good content out on LinkedIn. There really is. There's also some not so good content out there, but on the whole, I think the content, a lot of the content is really, really good that you guys are putting out. But I noticed that there was a sort of consistency with the posts that I was drawn to stop scrolling and read. And one of them is they have a great hook. That first line is so important. We talk about hooks consistently with my clients. So that first line, it just stops your attention and makes you want to read what that post is about. I notice they post consistently, these people, they're getting really good hooks. So that means they've probably got a good number of their network who have hit their bell and are regularly and consistently engaging. And also they're probably improving their content on a regular basis. They're speaking to the pain. That's really important. There's the third one is they're speaking to the pain of what their ideal client is struggling with. And then finally, and this is a really interesting one, they're using fewer words. So some of the content that had 0 likes, and I clicked on that, see more. It was a long piece of content with lots of words. LinkedIn and social media is much more of a scanning, fast-paced content world. So that's what I want to be unpacking for you. How do we create content that really speaks, hero content that really speaks about your business? And what are the criteria that moves it from that into the evergreen folder so that you can repurpose it? Save time, money, energy. Money, save time and energy. And get better engagement and get clients, convert your content. If you can hear me, welcome. Those of you I can see just joining. If you can hear me okay, give me a thumbs up. Introduce yourself. If you're in Facebook land, I can only see that you're a Facebook user. So pop your name before you comment on Facebook. And if you've got any content questions, throw them in. I'm here for half an hour. Didn't bring my water with me. Got a dry throat. And if we've not met before, or if you're watching this on the replay, do put replay as well. I love to see who's watching it live and who's watching on the replay. If we've not met before, I'm Jill Chitty, and I've been on LinkedIn for 12 years now and seen an awful lot of changes. But we work with experts unlocking another 5 to 10K from their expertise using LinkedIn. That is the best platform in the world. So we're going to be looking at writing evergreen content. Now, if there's one thing that I say to my clients that you want to really fine tune, one skill, it's writing and learning how to speak about your business. So if you wanted a little project, get better at writing. Look at what people are doing on LinkedIn in your industry and outside who are getting great contractions. No, that's what I had when I had my children. Getting great engagement. Hate the sun's out finally, Gloucester, UK, and yeah, I might go and sit in the garden later. So our aim with content, with LinkedIn, is to get visible and to let our network know what it is that we do, who we are, what it is we do, and how we do it, what the results are that they can expect. So LinkedIn is a massive introductory platform. So we want to be thinking, what do people need to know about us? What do people need to know about the work that we do with clients and how we work? And how can we take the lid off what our prospects, our potential clients are going through? Lorraine, I'm plugged in with an Ethernet cable, so I don't think it's me here. I'm not getting any signals, so it could be your end. So we call that hero content, giving your network a clear picture of who you are and what you do, because not everybody's going to see your content on LinkedIn. So people are going to see snapshots. So we want to make sure consistently we're saying the same things about our business. We're giving them an open door to look in, a clear picture here about this, insight into who we are as people. And we call that hero content. So that's what I want to talk about first. Now, the first point that we always start with clients is what are the pains of your clients? What are people that have the potential for you to impact? What are they struggling with? Where are they on that journey? So one client, one ideal client, one journey with one outcome. Where are they and where do they want to get to on that journey? And what we find is it's usually your program that you've got is addressing those pains. So we go back to your program or your service and we look at the pains that you solve and we talk about those in our content. So for example, I love to use the example of being a puppy trainer. I have a puppy, I have a cat. I'm not a dog owner, have been. If I wanted to communicate how brilliant a puppy trainer I was, I'd be speaking into the pains of my clients. Like, how do you stop your new puppy chewing furniture when you're all upstairs asleep and it's on its own? How do you stop the puppy from jumping up or going crazy when the doorbell rings? What are the things that you could do to make walking your new puppy more enjoyable? And so we're talking into those pains, those issues, those real life things that your clients are going through, and giving them a sort of top end insight, some easy actions. Now, this is not War and Peace. One of the things I noticed when I clicked onto content that wasn't consistently getting any traction from different profiles was there was a lot of writing. Yeah, and that's what it makes you do. It's not enjoyable to read because you have to. Yeah, let me know in the comments what your writing style would be, because what I'm saying to my clients is cut that down by half. Get rid of all of those buffer words, those excess words that don't mean anything, that aren't necessary. But a lot of people are writing War and Peace in their content, and you don't need to now. It's a fast-paced feed on LinkedIn. And so we have to grab the attention and speak into that moment. So writing content, it can take time to get it right, but you shouldn't be writing so much that it feels like every time you put a piece of content out, you've written the flipping book. So we are being really specific in speaking into the pains of your prospects, into what's going on in their world, what's not working, also the aspirations that they have, because that's a destination. It's a pain. That's a destination that they've not yet reached. So that's your very first step, is to get clear on pains, to go back to your program and looking at what pains do we address, what results do we get that move people from one place to another, one pain to a place of happiness and results. And that's very specific. And so being consistent with this, you'll create ambassadors in your network who can really relate and will engage and like and repost and comment. They'll spread the content you. Now, we also want to create a broader reach because we want the LinkedIn communications to push your content out. If it's very niche, it will only push that content out to that niche audience. It's a much smaller audience. So we want to be talking about the broader pictures of what we do. So we talk about mindset, we talk about productivity, we talked about the tools that we use. We can often talk about the life of an entrepreneur and the ups and downs of running your own business, which is a broader base of content and, and conversations. So what have you got that you can talk about that enables the communications on LinkedIn, the algorithms, to push out your content more, commenting on what's going on in your industry, commenting on cultural things. So there's plenty that we can do. We want to go broad, and we want to go niche, and we want to go broad as well. Now, that's sort of one stream, just focusing on those pillars, those pains, and another area that we have dived into, dived deeper. We cut down. As we had time to do some research, we didn't because we were busy. But we looked at where the content fell into certain categories, and we discovered actually that the content we were reading lockdown fell into 5 categories. And so make sure that the content that our clients are putting out fall into these main categories. And the first one, really important one, is the know, like, trust. So what information, what content can you create that builds that know, like, and trust? If you're like me, you might really struggle to put personal stuff out there, but actually it's content that will get really engaged with. I'm not into the I just saved a man who was going to throw himself off the bridge. But you can talk about your journey. You can talk about your start. You can talk about, quite often it's, okay, what's this tough thing that made me start my business? Because actually your audience is really going to relate to that, because chances are it's a very similar journey that they've been on. And you're that much further down the journey. So you can talk about bumps in the road or light bulb moments. You can talk about, if you're serving mums with children, you want to talk about your own journey with your children, because it's going to make you so much more relatable. So that's the know, like, and trust. It's going to be super easy for you to pull in ideas and put those down on paper and talk about those ideas. Then we've got the wisdom posts, and these are the posts we've just alluded to, going niche with talking about the pains, and they are your wisdom that you've built over the years of doing what you're doing, of butting away through a path through and finding results that you're now creating for your clients. Then we want to talk about engagement. And again, that's the broader posts that we've talked about. So you're going to be commenting on cultural things. You're going to be looking at what your industry is doing, maybe. You're going to be looking at the latest fads, talking about not being vanilla about stuff that is happening around you and even happening on LinkedIn. And then the next two, or the last two, are the really interesting ones. One we call a spotlight post, because we need to talk to people about our business. We need to give them insight into what we're doing. And one of the things that I noticed as I was scrolling down the home feed is lots of people are putting pictures up of testimonials. And they get very little engagement because nobody is at that place where they care enough at the moment. When they do care, it's when you're presenting, when they have taken quite a few steps towards you and they are looking to maybe work with you and investing with you. So then it becomes really important. So how do we talk about our business without talking about our business? And that's why it's called a spotlight. So we turn the light onto certain areas. And it's one of the things we're doing now, where I'm sharing with you a particular process that we use. We might be talking about a time when one of our clients, we got things wrong with one of our clients, and how we turned it about, or a client came to us with a particular problem that we were a bit like, okay, how do I do this? How do I help them to get engagement more, or make more money? And we share our thought process with people. So we're talking about how our business works. One of the other things that we might use is looking at the steps that we've taken to get to a particular point of success. So tons of things that you can be sharing with the spotlight. And what you're doing is you're drawing people in. And it's a relatable story. So stories are great on LinkedIn. Images go really well with this particular type of content. And again, it's a broader piece that often LinkedIn can push out to more, or will push out to more people. So we've talked in the past, we've talked about the principles that we use. We talk about how clients got the results that they get, the tools that we use in our business. That's probably one of the biggest questions that we get asked in our membership. What tools are you using to save time, to save angst and anxiousness around the whole tech thing? And then the systems we use. We have spent the last year and are continuing to work on our systems in the business and the systems that we use to get people results with their programs on LinkedIn. So it opens itself, it lends itself to you having tons that you can write about. And then the final one is the offer post. And this is where you, believe it or not, are making an offer. And we're not making the offer of, hey, come and work with me, buy my thing, because we know now, don't we? That doesn't work on LinkedIn. But what we are saying is we've got some value and we're making it available to you. Would you like it? Would you like to take the next small step with me? And it's an easy step that you can make. It's like, let's imagine I'm dating. I go into a bar and I see somebody that I feel quite attracted to, and they say to me, "Hi, how are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, blushing. Yeah, I'm good, thank you." And they say, "Are you local here?" And I'm like, "No, I'm visiting my sons," or whatever it might be. And we just naturally start a conversation. And before you know where it is, he's bought me a drink, and we're sitting down chatting with our wider group of friends. Putting out posts that are buy my thing, I like that same guy coming over and say, "Come on, let's go home. My place is free. The bed sheets are clean." We just need a place like LinkedIn. So the offer is just getting it's leaving breadcrumbs, it's leaving a trail, getting people to take small steps with you, really doable steps that doesn't make them feel uncomfortable. And it's really easy to get people to DM you to take action on something. So a download, free event, access to some of your systems, lists to your tools that you use and how you use it. They're all really useful stuff that enables you to start a relationship with people. We talked a lot about this last week. Doing these things in your marketing that allows you to start those conversations which build to relationships. So when you're talking about writing hero content, it's got to be a mix. And then, of course, it needs to be a mix of media. So on LinkedIn, we've got text, only post, text and image. We've got carousels, videos. You've got audio lives here like I'm doing. We've got the newsletters, the articles. So there's a ton of ways that you can keep your content fresh on LinkedIn. So we've created some hero content. Brilliant. Well done. Now what we do in the business and with clients is at least once a month, we pull that content together with the stats. Now, there's a great app called the Shield app where you get to see everything in one place. And we look at in detail, okay, what was the time you posted that? Oh, now look at that headline. We could have improved it if you'd have put these words in to start with, not made it so long, made it more direct. What about the length of your post? How did you finish? Did you do a call to action or a call to feel? Is it adding value? So we look at all of these for two reasons. One, we want data. We need to know before a piece of content goes into the Evergreen folder that it's got life, it's got legs. And then by looking in detail at this content, we start to improve how we understand our content is working for our network, because your network is different to my network and the offering that we have is different. So we can talk to you in principles, but we always have to test. So it's really important that we get that data by reviewing. And if we think something's got legs, it goes into the Evergreen folder so that we can repurpose it. Probably 2 to 3 months time. I first discovered this because we've got a mini agency and we typically work with companies with sort of 50 people plus, and we take over their LinkedIn. And we were working with a marketing agency, so we love working with marketing agencies, and they created a great piece of content that I ran with, and we put it out regularly. And every time we put it out, it just got tons and tons of traction that led to inquiries. And actually, the same people quite often would respond because they hadn't remembered. Life's busy, the feed is busy. They hadn't remembered that they had engaged with it before. So you've now got your hero folder. And do you know what? There's nothing more I love. I do weekly content checks with clients. Nothing more I love saying is like, boom, another one for the Evergreen folder. Yes, that's brilliant. That's going in the Evergreen folder. Now, I will sometimes run with a content that flops. Why is that? Because it measures up to the data that it should be a good piece of content. It might be we put it out slightly later. The other week I got up early and didn't realize had woken up so early and was kind of almost like an hour and a half ahead of myself, and I was just in my routine and I put my piece of content out and everybody was asleep, so it got no traction. So, there's all sorts of little nuances that you want to be looking for. So we will put that in the Evergreen folder with a note on of the past stats so that we know, okay, we've got some really good chunky pieces going out here. This is a good week to put it in. And we tend to talk in themes as well, because we know, if we're putting out 5 pieces of content, hopefully most people or a lot of people in our network will see one of those pieces of content. So we will put in a post that doesn't, engagement wise, doesn't do particularly well, but actually it doesn't mean that it's not getting viewed by key people that are watching and consuming everything and reach out to you. So that's why we use content that doesn't get huge engagement. And then what we're doing is we're pulling each week at least 2 pieces from the Evergreen folder and improving them if it can be improved and popping them in, because the idea is you want to put content that you absolutely know is going to hit the mark with your network. So that's the process from talking about pains, going niche and broad, looking at all of the different styles of content that you want to have in, Things like your origin story is definitely a hero content piece that should go, if you get it right, it should go into the evergreen. And then the only reason why you would need to change stuff in that evergreen folder is if your business is changing and morphing, which it does. So you're constantly reviewing as you're pulling this content out. Now, we are periodically in the business, we open up a client workshop that we think is going to be really valuable to my network. And so we've opened up our connection to client workshop, which is taking place next Thursday, the 25th at 1 p.m. UK time. We only open up a small handful of spots because we want to retain that sense of it being a client workshop. It's a hands-on, big overview picture, a workshop where you're working, cameras on, doing the work in the session. And the brilliant thing about this session that I do with clients is we look at, okay, you've got a new client now. So what? What's next? Now what do you do? And so we look at the principles of what people need from you to get them to a stage where you've got them onto a call and they're ready to say yes. So if that would be useful, we have been promoting it this week, so I know quite a few spots have gone, but if that would be useful, you can either DM me or pop in the comments workshop, and we'll get the link to you. And if all the details align, then you can register and we'll make sure that you get access to the workshop. And because that's next week, we won't be doing a live next week. But if you feel you've written a good piece of content, do tag me in. You have to come over to LinkedIn if you're not on LinkedIn at the moment, but do tag me in a post. I love getting tagged in a post and giving my thoughts on it. So do that. Hope this has been useful, guys. For us, this whole evergreen thing, and for my clients, it makes it really clear what's expected of us with LinkedIn content and how you can manage it. So hope that was useful. Tons of love to you. Tag me in your content if you want to get my eyes on it, get me engaging, and we will see you in a couple of weeks' time when we'll be back with more goodness on using LinkedIn to sell your expertise. Take care for now.